This is Extra Points, a Pop Warner podcast. I'm your host, Tim Glaze. We're sharing some of the most compelling stories in sports. On this episode, we chat with the quarterback who defined toughness and leadership, a four-time AFC champ who helped shape one of the most iconic offenses in NFL history. Here's Hall of Famer Jim Kelly. Thanks, Jim. When I was researching your story, I realized that the word toughness was often used to describe you, mental toughness, the way you played the game, the physicality of it as well. But it goes back to one of the part of the story that I felt most interesting goes back to kind of when you were closer to your Pop Warner days in high school football, and you had a chance to go to your home state, Penn State school, and they wanted you as a linebacker, and you said, you know what, no, I'm a quarterback, and you kind of bet on yourself. Like, how did that come about? Like, what made you to say, no, no to Penn State, I'm going to find myself and be a quarterback?
Well, again, you know what? Where I'm from, you're either Pitt or Penn State, and I've always been a Penn State fan. And that's where I wanted to go. I went to Joe Paterno's football camp my junior and senior year, and I thought I showed him enough that would prove that I could play quarterback. But unfortunately, 2 weeks before the national signing date, he came and he called and he said that just let you know we've already signed 2 quarterbacks that we want, but we'll still give you a full scholarship as a linebacker. And I'm thinking, you gotta be kidding me. So I decided to go to the University of Miami, and it's funny because when I went there, Lou Saban was the head coach, and they told me we were running a pro style offense. And I'm thinking, okay, he was a Buffalo Bill coach, NFL. It's my dream come true. And unfortunately, they ran the Veer offense. And as you well know, Tim, as well as a lot of other people, I was never a running quarterback, even though I had over 1,000 yards in my career. But the thing is, I didn't want to play linebacker, so I wind up playing quarterback. And with Lou Saban, I was looking to transfer. I was going to get out of Miami and go to Tennessee. But my brother Pat told me, he said, hey, I heard Lou Saban was leaving, but he'll wait and find out who he brings in. And of course, it wound up being Howard Schnellenberger. And with him, he brought a quarterback coach by the name of Earl Morrall. And Earl Morrall was the quarterback for the Miami Dolphins when they went undefeated because Bob Greasy got hurt during the season, and he was the backup, but he wound up coming on. So what more could I ask? NFL quarterback being my quarterback coach and having a guy like Howard Schnellenberger. So again, fast forward, I'm now the backup. And the guy that started the year before, they decided to start him again, my redshirt freshman year. And I still thought I was better, but I just needed the opportunity. So we're traveling now to Penn State, and we're terrible. I'm thinking, okay, if, when we're getting beat, hopefully coach will put me in mop-up duties. I mean, I had my mom and dad there. My buddies were there. And it's funny because we traveled to Penn State, and I had all the dinners and everything. So the morning of the game, about 4 or 5 hours before the game, I'm having a pregame meal. I get a tap on my shoulder, and I looked up, and it's Coach Schnellenberger. And he goes, son, I need you to come with me. I need to speak with you. And I'm thinking, oh, boy. Everybody's like looking like, why is he pulling him aside? So I walk off to the side with him, and he said, son, I decided you're starting today. You deserve the opportunity. I go, what? He goes, you get ready. Some of those words. So I automatically, started walking away with them. And I go, Coach, I got to go to the bathroom. So I walked into the bathroom. I started throwing up. And he stood outside and waited for me. I didn't think he'd wait. I came on. He goes, you all right? I go, don't worry, Coach. I did that before every high school football game. He goes, okay, then let's go get him. We wind up upsetting Penn State that day. And I wind up getting, I think it was the AP Player of the Week. And but the following week, we played against Alabama at Tuscaloosa against Paul Bear Bryant. I was 3 for 15, 3 interceptions, and I got knocked out cold in the third quarter. So welcome to big-time NCAA football, because the first 4 starts that I had was Penn State, Alabama, Notre Dame, and Florida. Oh, boy. But the rest is history, and I started at Miami until I was drafted by the Buffalo Bills.
When you upset Penn State, did you have a moment with Joe Paterno after the game?
No, he just ran up to me and he said, congratulations, great job, and that was it.
Okay, that's good
I mean, of
acknowledgement.
course, I would love to have a good conversation with him. I was just a kid. He was one of the greatest ever coached the game. So, no, I have a lot of respect for him. But at least he was going to give me his full scholarship. At least I was going to get an education.
Yeah. You came from a family of a lot of brothers.
Yep.
And I was reading your book, Playbook for Dads, and you have your dad's coaching philosophy that you described in there seems to run counter to what we see a lot today in youth sports. A lot of kids are leaving because just so much pressure on that. And it seems like your dad kind of had a way of celebrating the good and the bad and keeping things in perspective. Like, what was it like coming up in a sports family like that?
Well, bottom line is, I grew up with a family of six boys. I was the fourth son, and mom talked dad into giving her one more try for a girl. They had twin boys, so they're like, okay, no more kids. Six boys is enough. And you know what? The older we got, the more we knew that we wanted to be good enough to take care of mom and dad, the two people we loved. Because we knew what would put my mom and dad through, especially my mother. Six boys fighting all the time, but you know what? It was what it was, and we all knew the dreams we had was to play in the NFL, just like most kids. And fortunately, me and my brother Pat were able to. He was drafted by the Baltimore Colts, and he wound up going to the World Football League. But I wind up, of course, being drafted by the Buffalo Bills, and it was a dream come true for me. But my dad was in the Navy; he was a Navy man, and he brought us up, yes, sir, no, sir. And when he told us to be home at 10 o'clock, we had to be home at 5 to 10 at least. You never were late. And if you were late, you paid the price. So for us, my dad was a big influence on our life. But you know what, Tim? One of the guys who was just as big as an influence as my five brothers and my dad was my high school football coach. And as a matter of fact, he's in the high school Hall of Fame right now. And his name's Terry Henry. And was my best friend. I took him to 32 Super Bowls. And as a matter of fact, he just passed away last February. And he was one of the greatest men that I've ever met. He's the one that kept me in a straight line, straightforward, doing the right things. And if you want anything bad, you're going to have to outwork the next guy. And that's what I did. And I did it not only for my family, but I also did it for him.
That's good. Do you have another coach as well that we most know, Marv Levy? You have Schellenberger was one that you mentioned. You've been surrounded by some really good coaches. What do you like? What do you take from all of those coaches together as a player? Like, how important was the coaching to you?
Well, you know what's most important, Tim, is during my career, my high school football coach was Terry Henry. I mean, I can even go back to midget football. I mean, I had Jim Martin was one of our Gary Faust, Art Delano were my midget coaches, and they were unbelievable. And then of course, I had Terry Henry, and then when I went to college, I had First Blue Saint, but I really don't count that. But I had Howard Schnellenberg, and then when I was drafted by Buffalo, but I went to the USFL. I had Jack Pardee, and then of course I wound up for my most of my whole career. I had Marv Levy, and I guess I should say I'm very blessed because there's a lot of quarterbacks that go through so many coaches, not just head coaches, but offensive coordinators. And I've been very, very blessed to have the same one. Marv Levy, as a matter of fact, we celebrated his 100th birthday at the Pro Football Hall of Fame this year, which was awesome. But I've been blessed from start to finish with the people in my life that helped me achieve my ultimate goal, and that ultimate goal was to play professional football. I never dreamt about the Hall of Fame. I mean, I I dreamt about the NFL and I finally made it, but I never thought about the Pro Football Hall of Fame. I thought that was for like, Terry Bradshaw and Joe Namath and Roger Staubach and Bob Greasy and all those quarterbacks that I looked up to growing up. And here all of a sudden I'm in the Hall of Fame. But again, I look back to the coaching I had and the people around my life, and I've been very, very blessed.
So, with all these coaches that you came up under, have you had an interest in coaching on your own?
No. I coached my last 6 years of my NFL career. I mean, I called all the plays, and I was very blessed that I had a head coach by the name of Marv Levy, as we talked about, that it allowed me to do that because he was really putting his job security on the line. Because if we screwed up it was not only was my fault, it was his fault because he let me call the plays. But I got good coaching, I should say, during the course of the week, prepare me for uh, what I did, and that was call all my plays and the no-huddle offense. I mean, I had Jim Schaffner, Tom Bresnahan, I have Ted Marchabroda. Them all together were able to teach me and prepare me for the week. And then, of course, once I was on the field, it was up to me to get the job done. And once I left the field and I was on the sidelines, I had one of the greatest backup quarterbacks, and a guy that helped me a lot was Frank Reich. And you know what? Again, Tim, I'm talking about the people that I was blessed to be around me in my life that prepared me to set those goals and dreams. And I was able to take care of the people I love. And I can't, I mean, can't emphasize that enough and I use it all the time, show me your friends and I'll show you your future. And your future's not very bright if you hang out with the wrong people. But I hung out with the right people. And when I didn't, my dad made sure that I didn't. And then as I continued to grow, those goals and dreams of being an NFL quarterback all of a sudden came true. But I knew it demanded a lot of hard work. And now here I am. I have a beautiful family, two beautiful daughters, and of course my son's in heaven. I got a wife who's just unbelievable. And here I am. I'm 65 now, and I just had my first grandson. And I just got chills. I am so pumped to teach him how to throw a football. So I told his father, which is a baseball player, 6'6", 250, big boy. I said, if his name's Bo, Beau, Bo Hunter Bean. I said, if he's a pitcher, he's going to be left-handed. But if he's a quarterback, if he's right-handed, he's going to be a quarterback. So we're going back and forth, but I can't wait. He's going on 5 months.
Hey all, so just when you thought your fall season could be over, you can get the team together for an exciting new flag football tournament. For the first time, Pop Warner is partnering with NFL Flag to host a national flag football event. The Crown Classic will take place in Charlotte, North Carolina this December 12th and 13th, with divisions across many age groups, both co-ed and girls. Registration opens September 2nd. For more information, check out popwarner.com. Now back to the episode. I know you're not coaching, but you've been very involved with a youth football camp for kids. I'm assuming that is in the Buffalo area that you do that?
Yeah, we're doing it at the stadium. This is my 38th year of doing my football camp. I love it. I mean, when I was battling a couple bouts of my cancer, I mean, one time I just got out of the hospital, I think 2 weeks after, or real short after, and I wind up going. I said, I can't let the kids down. And 38 years of doing this. We're not sure of a date yet, but I just urge everybody, log on to jimkelly.com because we usually sell out every year. And the thing is, with the new stadium and with them closing down a lot, we're not sure where it's going to be yet, but hopefully it will be in a field house and some of the practice fields, until they really get that stadium under control. But I'll tell you what, there's not many people that have as much fun as I do around those kids. Oh, I love it.
So if it's moving, I guess you may not be able to tell a kid to go grab a leaf.
You know what? I haven't been able to tell them to grab a leaf, and that's a good one. Because what I used to do, and that's funny you brought that up. I haven't talked about that in a while because usually there's no trees around. But what we used to do at St. Bonaventure, I emphasize being thankful for everything you got. So when I signed their autograph, if they forgot to say thank you, I would say, okay, stand in that line over there. And once I got through that group, that age group, there'd probably be 20, 25 kids. I go, okay, guys, what are you supposed to do when somebody gives you something? They're like, say thank you? And I go, yes. No, one of you kids said thank you. I said, go grab a leaf and bring it back to me. And they're looking around like, Mr. Kelly, there's no trees. And I go, oh, yeah, there is. See, waiting down there about 500 yards away? Go grab me a leaf. And they would run, and they learned how to say thank you. And I got so many letters back in the day of parents that would say, thank you for doing that, because now they say thank you all the time. So, I mean, that's just a small bit of what I do, because I do a chalk talk every year for all the kids.
That's interesting. And of course, that helps develop their character and be better teammates and grow better teams. And there was something I watched a couple days ago. I'm not going to get into it specifically, the Four Falls of Buffalo. And there's a couple stories in there where there weren't in there, but I'm kind of curious about a couple things. Steve Tasker said that the team had a lot of learning to do as it went back when you guys were referred to as the bickering Bills. Andrea Kramer was on a bit, said that winning solves everything. And I'm sure winning helps. But I'm curious, before that team could be as great as it was, you all had to solve some things in the clubhouse.
Well,
Um,
bottom line is we all had egos, including myself. I mean, what we wanted to do, we all wanted to be good, we all wanted to be great. But if we weren't going to play together, we weren't going to make much of what we had. And Coach Levy's one of the guys that talked to us about it, and we gathered around each other, we talked to each other. And then I decided to start having parties at my house for all the players and their families because everybody was out doing their own thing. And until we came together, we weren't going to be anything. And we decided, this is what we got to do. We put our egos aside. We knew that we had a hell of a football team, but we weren't going to be anything as long as we kept going our individual ways. So I started having parties after the games at my house, win or lose. Everybody would come over, and some players would say, "Hey, I have my family though. I won't be able to make it. I'd bring them over. Bring them all. If there's 10, bring them all 10." So we started having good parties, having fun. We started really winning, as you well know. Excuse me. And then, of course, the rest is history, as we all well know. But it's interesting because as I speak here today, we have a group text. About 10, 11 of us are on a group text that I don't do much of texting back during football games. I usually shut my phone off because boy, those guys, they go nuts. And I'm like, I can't handle everybody yelling. I mean, even though it's not loud, it's verbiage. And they have fun. We have fun. I looked at them the following day, and but it's a lot of fun. But we are the closest family could possibly get that ever played the game, without a doubt.
Yeah, and you know what? I know it's a different era back then, before free agency is what it is today, but like I don't think when I think of Jim Kelly, I don't think of you without the others. There's Thurman, there's Andre, the whole team is just like thought of as one unit. I don't know that you really see that in today's NFL anymore, but it's something I always appreciated about that your era of the Bills. So you mentioned the group text. Are you still all involved with Buffalo? And I know I talked to Andre a few months ago for a podcast interview, and I know he has this um, documentary coming out, Just One Before I Die. Trying to figure out Bill's Mafia and everything of that. You guys still like really involved with each other?
We are, but not to the standpoint of that. I just know I have my golf tournament every year, and usually about 15, 20 of the guys come back, and we just have a blast and raising money for local charities and doing what we have to do. We see each other probably 3 or 4 times a year. I don't know the whole part of the documentary that you're doing. I really, to be honest with you, I haven't heard about it, but I just know the guys I love. I mean, Will Wolford, I still get, talk to, Daryl Talley, Bruce, Thurman, Andre. I mean, Steve Tasker. I can go on and on, all the guys that we still communicate with, Cornelius Bennett, Chris Moore. But you know what? I love those guys, and we'll always be as close as you possibly can get.
And you stayed in Buffalo, so when they go back, they get to see you.
Yeah, me, Tasker, and Thurman are the three guys that live in Buffalo. Everybody else, after they got out of football, whether it's because their wives did not live here, that they moved back to their hometown, or they moved back to where they, whatever the case may be. But yeah, my wife's from here. My son is laid to rest here. God bless him. And my two daughters love it. So they both are graduated. One's married, one's still single, and she just graduated from Liberty with a master's degree. So, yeah, we just love it back here. I mean, I really do. People go, "You still go back to Buffalo?" I go, "Hey, I travel a lot because I'm a motivational speaker, and my talk is called A Journey of Perseverance. And it's to talk about fighting, never giving up, no matter what the situation is. And I still love it because I travel, as I stated, and if we all as a family want to go south, we'll go to Florida. I mean, I got My college roommate, Greg Chappelle, still lives there. My best friend, Jeff Peck, lives in Miami. I go back down there, we'd have fun, we'd go out in the boat, have a few cocktails, enjoy ourselves, and get a little suntan. No, I don't get the suntan. I keep the long sleeve shirts on.
Oh, well, Buffalo, I know, has really embraced you, and I'm sure, Bill's Mafia, it earns its name. One of the things that you have been doing post-career is you have the Hunter's Hope Foundation, and where are you at with that? What is the mission going forward on that, and what projects do you have going on with that?
Well, right now we're still we're getting better. I think we have 14 states now that are testing for my son's disease. But one of the bottom lines is, and we reached out to Bobby Kennedy, and he got back to us, and we're going to meet with him hopefully sometime in the beginning of the year about newborn screening. And as you well know, Tim, especially the wives know, every time you have a child born, they do the heel prick, and they test that heel prick for certain amount of diseases. And some states, when my son was born, they were only testing 14 in New York. Illinois was like 52, Mississippi 45. And if my son was born in a state that tested, we'd have been able to have a cord blood transplant, and he would have been able to handle a normal, healthy life. And right now, that's what we're pushing for. We're not going to stop until they do. And we're at 14 states now, but we still have a long way to go. And I just pray to the good Lord that when we meet with Bobby Kennedy, he'll understand. And I think he already does understand, because a friend of mine reached out to him, told him a little bit about him, and he texted me back, and we've been texting. So hopefully at the first part of the year, sometime in 2026, we'll sit down maybe with him or maybe with President Trump and be able to, save some of these kids' lives, give them a chance to dream like I was able to do as a little boy.
Oh, that's great. Hey, I want to end with one more question. When this podcast drops, it'll be just days before Pop Warner Super Bowl starts. So our Super Bowl is this year in Charlotte, December 6th through the 13th. Just put yourself on a sideline with a group of 12-year-old kids going into the Super Bowl. For us, it's 3 games. The third game is the championship game. What would you tell a team that's embarking on the Pop Warner Super Bowl?
Well, bottom line is playing together. And what I always try to emphasize that if you're an offensive lineman, you want after a football game, whether you're an offensive line, whether you're a receiver, whether you're a linebacker or a running back, you want to be able to leave that field knowing you gave it your all. And when you leave, the people on the other sidelines knew exactly what number you were, and they know who they played against, because you don't want anybody leaving that field thinking they had it easy. So you give it 100%, and that's all you could ever ask. And know that you left everything on the field. And you want to make sure when that other team leaves the field, they remember who they played against.
For Pop Warner, I'm your host, Tim Glaze. Thanks for listening. We hope you enjoyed this episode. This podcast is a production of Pop Warner Little Scholars, the premier national governing body for youth football and cheer and dance. Visit us at popwarner.com.